invocation of God's blessing upon this 125th commencement of St. Anselm College will be pronounced by the Right Reverend Mark Cooper, Abbot of St. Anselm Abbey and Chancellor of the College.
In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Amen. Gracious God, we ask your blessing on our ceremonies this afternoon and upon all gathered here, especially the parents and families of those who will graduate today. We ask a particular blessing on the men and women of the class of 2018. Guided by your providence, they came here a few short years ago, seeking knowledge and understanding. Allow them to see that life and wisdom and all good things come to us through you. You have blessed their days here with friendships that will be among their most cherished possessions all the days of their lives. May they always be the best of friends, wanting only what is good and right for one another. You have blessed them with professors who led them in their search for truth and wisdom. May they hold dear what they have learned, and may it lead them to lives of service so that they themselves become a blessing to all who encounter them. May they hunger for justice and satisfy that hunger by using their time and talents on behalf of those in need. You have blessed them with a love of St. Anselm College. Bring them back here often to remember and rejoice in their time spent on this hilltop. Bless them now and bless them always. Protect them. Watch over them all the days of their lives. We ask this through Christ our Lord.
Please remain standing and join in the singing of the national anthem led by Catherine Damasi, class of 2018.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Please be seated. The student speaker chosen to address us in the name of the class of 2018 is Caroline McKenzie, a psychology major from Nashua, New Hampshire.
President DeSalvo, Abbot Mark, the Benedictine community, members of the Board of Trustees, Cardinal O'Malley, and Honorary Degree recipients, distinguished faculty and staff, friends, families, mom and dad, and my fellow classmates of the class of 2018, good afternoon, and welcome to St. Anselm College's 125th commencement exercises. I want to let you in on a secret, just between us. Right here, right now, all I can think about is one thing: doors. The doors on this campus. Do you know how many doors I've held open in the past 4 years at this school? I came here as a naive freshman. St. Anselm College has taught me so many things about the world, and so much about service, and so much more about education and science than I could have possibly ever imagined. The professors at this school have lifted my understanding of so many things. They have clarified so many questions I had about how the world works. They have prepared me to go out into the world and begin a meaningful career. And yet, here I am at our graduation thinking about doors. The doors to Geisel Library at 2 a.m. as we all cram last-minute information in before finals. The doors to Davison as we cram in for Christmas feast and we try to stuff our faces with squashed mashed potatoes. The doors to the Car Center that are being held open for Relay for Life as we support those who suffer with cancer. And the doors to alumni as we jog up 4 flights of stairs on our way to class. In all honesty, this school has obliterated my understanding of what the proper distance is to hold the door for someone behind you. Seriously, I'm not kidding. I estimate that probably 12% of my college career has been consumed with me either holding the door for someone else, having the door held for me, seeing a door held for another, or in general, contemplating whether or not to hold the door for an approaching Anselmian or guest. I've seen doors held open for people while they're only halfway across the quad, and I've seen professors with no free hands, holding 4 coffees and a book bag, holding the door for someone who may not even be going into that building. And I know every single one of us associated with this school has, at one point, engaged in one of those door holding dances where you're both holding the door open and you keep repeating, "I insist, after you." No, really, it's yours. And someone leaves the engagement upset that their door wasn't chosen. Have you guys been in that? So why are we like this on this campus? Why, with all I have learned and experienced, is this my lasting impression? And what does this have anything to do with the doors we're going through next? On the one hand, holding doors is not unique to this campus. I mean, it's a custom practiced all over the world. We did not invent the holding of doors. On the other hand, the one that's not holding the door, this is practiced with such constancy and is so ingrained into our Anselmian culture that we may even take it for granted. But in every instance where we hold the door open for another person, we are showing regard for that individual. We're even acknowledging them as a member of our community. And in a small way, we're extending the hand of the divine. When we hold the door open for another person, we are saying more than just, "Hey, I've got this." It is more than just courtesy or manners. We are making a statement. We are saying, "Enter into our world. Allow us to welcome you properly. Join our school and community in food, in prayer, in thought, in conversation, in service, and in action. Join us in change." So you see, without realizing it, St. Anselm College has been preparing us for the past 4 years to extend this simple Anselmian tradition from our own hearts to our lives beyond this campus. In this sense, our commencement today is not just the beginning of us putting into practice our knowledge or our expertise or our shiny new degrees, but the beginning of us holding open the door for the rest of the world. And let's face it, there are many, many closed doors in this world. There are doors closed because of sexism and racism, and because of homophobia and transphobia and xenophobia. There are doors closed to people in poverty, and there are doors closed to people because of mental illness. There are doors closed to people because of mental or physical disabilities, and there are doors closed to immigration. There are doors closed simply because the apprehension to open them is far too great. When we reflect on the past 4 years, it is a time to reflect on the joys and the memories and the lessons, but it is also a time to remember the doors that have been graciously opened for us. Through the analysis of literature, we have examined the minds of the greatest writers of the past. Social work has enlightened us on addressing significant issues in our society which are all too often overlooked, such as poverty and institutionalized depression. Nursing has opened the doors to practicing holistic, safe, and compassionate care, as well as training for advocacy of patients and the self and the future of healthcare. Science has opened the doors to understanding the mysteries of the universe, from the farthest of stars to the nearest of microscopic cells. Criminal justice has opened the doors for the detailed introspection of the flaws in the prison system, along with the analysis of how we can address these in order to improve societal issues that are all too often overlooked, such as crime and incarceration. Psychology has opened the doors to understanding mental health and the intricacies and development of the human brain. Peace and justice studies has opened the door to understanding how we can band together towards creating peace and cooperation, civil discourse, equality, equity, and liberation. After all, what are the liberal arts? They are the collective, in-depth understanding that frees people from inexperience, from unawareness, and from the chains of ignorance. The purpose of our undergraduate education has been to create a basis to build off of as we work in the world. The purpose of our undergraduate education has been to open doors. To open doors to an augmented understanding of the world in which we live. And now, we must open the doors beyond the College of St. Anselm. There are so many various ways in our lives which we can hold the door open. Hold the door open when you disagree with another. When someone has a different viewpoint than you, hold the door open for them so they may see your point of view. And then, allow them to hold the door open for you so that you may see their viewpoint. Hold the door open to yourself. What this means is not closing ourselves off in times of adversity and pain, but holding ourselves open to change and to understanding, to companionship and love, to disagreement and cooperation, to new experiences, relationships, emotions, ideas, and stories. Hold the door open to victory as well as failure. Hold the door open to your heart and allow people to experience the you that you have been creating for the past 20 years. The you that is going to use your own unique set of skills and passions to change the world. Let us hold the door open to allowing the pain we experience to increase awareness, to speaking out in times of adversity, and to changing policy so there is less pain among us all. But most importantly, continue holding the door open for others. Allow others to enter into your world regardless of their differences. Allow others to better understand you, themselves, and our community through intellectually stimulating conversation, civil discourse, and spiritual connection. Remember the doors that have been opened for you. Remember the blessings and accomplishments that got you here. Remember those as you extend, and share those benefits with all. We are taught at this school to walk alongside people. We need to treat all people with human dignity. The world equally distributes opportunity and skill, but does not equally distribute the opportunity. Meet people where they are at, and use your opportunities to raise awareness and open doors for others. I ask of you to think of this as you commence the beginning of your next grand adventure. We are exiting the realm of being graded upon the quality or quantity of our work and entering the world where our most important achievements will not be measured by a letter grade, but how we exist in a community, how we make others feel, and how we add to the overall good in the world. As we close the doors on the past 4 years, we open the door to new experiences and challenges. There will be failures as well as successes. Remember those who held the door open for you. Remember your accomplishments and experiences because of these helping hands. Keep these in mind as you progress forward. This college has opened the doors of education and career to each of us. Do not let the world diminish your Anselmian spirit. Remember your accomplishments and remember to spread your Anselmian values and hold the door open for all others. Members of the class of 2018, congratulations. I am honored to walk through the next doors with you. After you, no really, I insist.
The American Association of University Professors, St. Anselm College chapter, presents an annual award to a member of the faculty of the college. Dr. Kevin Staley, Professor of Philosophy and President of the AAUP chapter on campus, will announce this year's award.
Honored guests, fellow Anselmians, families, and friends, this year's recipient of the AAUP's Excellence in Faculty Accomplishment Award is no stranger to the role of teacher, scholar, and citizen. This faculty member has always focused on the roles of faculty mentor, dedicated scholar, and concerned citizen of the college and the community at large. Few people can match her energy in the classroom, or for that matter, her rapid stride as she speeds across campus. She's generous, always willing to lend a hand or contribute encouragement with a simple smile. This year's winner is a graduate of Regis College in Weston, Massachusetts, and a native of Cranston, Rhode Island. She received her PhD from the University of New Hampshire, and lucky for us, she has been at St. Anselm College ever since. Since joining the faculty here at St. Anselm in 1990, she has done what has ever been asked of her and more. She has served both as an example and as an advisor to young faculty in her department. As a teacher, she's admired by her students and by her colleagues for her careful class preparation and her enthusiasm for her topic. After a particularly enthusiastic class, a student once noted that she really does have to calm down about this stuff. In her scholarship, she reaches across boundaries to work with colleagues in education and criminal justice. She has extended her reach within her own department as well. She is passionately committed to searching for better ways to understand children, their families, and how they process their worlds. Her expertise has benefited her colleagues and also multiple students doing research projects in any given year. As for service, few at St. Anselm are more visible. She has served 9 years as a faculty senator. She has been a member of or has chaired numerous committees, including working as co-chair of the Inclusivity and Sexual Orientation Task Force, which led to the creation of our Core Council on Inclusiveness. Most recently, she led the nationwide search for the college's first Chief Diversity Officer. She has participated in a service and solidarity mission trip to Costa Rica as part of Spring Break Alternative. Her passion and support for the students extends beyond the classroom, whether as an advisor to the women's hockey team, she rarely misses a game, home or away, or as an ardent fan of the Abbey Players. Off campus, this year's recipient is wholly engaged in her local community. She was for many years the first communion coordinator for her parish and continues as a Eucharistic minister there. When she is not contributing to the lives of others, she is enjoying the company of her husband, Paul, as they celebrate the many accomplishments of their children, Kathleen, Daniel, and Daniel's wife, Shannon. She's a proud nana to her grandchildren, Bryn, Colin, and Addison, who also share her love for our women's ice hockey team. She is much loved and a cherished sister to a very close group of siblings. She has abundant energy, a warmth towards which people naturally gravitate, and strength in her convictions about righting the wrongs in our world. It is my great pleasure to announce this year's recipient of the AAUP's Excellence in Faculty Accomplishment Award, Associate Professor of Psychology, Dr. Maria W. McKenna.
At this time, I would like to ask Abbot Mark Cooper, Abbot of St. Anselm Abbey and Chancellor of the College, to present the highest award of the College, the Chancellor's Award. The Chancellor's Medal is awarded to the student with the highest grade point average of the graduating class. The top student in the class of 2018 is a biochemistry major from Londonderry, New Hampshire, with a grade point average of 3.989. The recipient of the Chancellor's Award is Andrew Bompastori. On this 125th commencement of St. Anselm College, it is my pleasure to introduce Dr. Stephen DeSalvo, President of the College, who will now deliver the President's Address. Ladies and gentlemen, President DeSalvo.
Members of the class of 2018, family and friends, Abbot Mark, and members of the monastic community, President Emeritus, Father Jonathan, faculty and staff, members of the Board of Trustees, Cardinal O'Malley, Bishop Labashi, Mr. Brady, Professor Emeritus Romps, and Dr. Stuart Shore. It is with great pride and joy that I welcome you to the 125th commencement celebration and offer my personal congratulations to the class of 2018 on the completion of your academic degrees. Today, we celebrate your accomplishments and have an opportunity to reflect on the moments that have brought us all together for this very happy occasion. You have finally arrived at the end of this academic journey. Well, it's about time. That's been the theme for the past 4 years, but it all depends on how you read into those words. It's about time. After all, time is the most precious commodity we have. Think of the time you first arrived to tour this magnificent campus you now call home, or the time you met your first roommate, or figured out how to do laundry on your own, or when you witnessed Tammy reciting your order at the grill in Davison Hall, when you attended liturgy in the Abbey Church, participated in a presidential primary event, performed in a theater production, won a sporting event, completed final exams. You've celebrated 4 years of homecoming and family weekend, and have probably been to at least one intense night of Kabingo. Your class is etched in my memory by important moments in time. Brandon and Claire working events at the Institute of Politics, learning the rules of field hockey during a Final Four appearance, Jake and Emily's engagement, Cody driving me to Logan Airport, Catherine's work with Judge Broderick, Skyping with Jessica from Peru, interviewing a prospective student in Haiti by the name of Sabine, and cheering on Amanda, Megan, and Shannon these past few weeks as they led the women's softball onto the Elite Eight. Now, they'll be receiving their diplomas today, but they will represent the Hawks in the National Softball Championship next weekend, so go Hawks. Your class was also instrumental in the design of the brand new Roger and Francine Jean Student Center complex. It will remain a beacon for future Anselmians for many years to come. We thank you for that. You each have fond memories marked by time that you will take with you the rest of your lives. 4 years ago, you arrived to begin an academic journey that has prepared you well to enter the workforce or to continue your education with graduate studies. A rigorous curriculum rooted in the liberal arts has sharpened your oratory abilities, critical thinking skills, and theological foundation. This was not simply a transfer of knowledge, but rather a course from which to grow academically, socially, spiritually. You have been led by the charge to contribute to the common good. And each moment taught you something about being part of a community, about serving others, about being prepared. Perhaps you met a presidential candidate or worked behind the scenes at one of the debates. I hope that being up close and personal with the primary process here on campus has encouraged you to be more active citizens now and in the future. There are few certainties in life, but major political figures visiting our campus is one of them. And as alumni, we hope that your pride only grows as you continue to see St. Anselm in the spotlight. Obtaining a St. Anselm degree is not designed to be an easy task. Through the best of days, and particularly during the most challenging, you have had friends and family at your side. These years would not have been the same without the support of your loved ones. They share in your joy today. Always remember to tell those around you how much you love them and thank them for their support. And I think we should do it right now. So why don't you stand up, turn toward your parents, and give them a big round of applause. At the heart of our college is our Benedictine community. We honor our founders, the monks of the Order of St. Benedict, and we continue to be grateful to their successors, the monks of St. Anselm Abbey, for preserving our mission today and into the future. So today brings closure to your time as an undergraduate. When you leave campus today, you will have turned a page on an amazing chapter in your life, and will continue to write your story in new places among new people. But I hope you remember that no matter where your journey takes you, you are always welcome here. You may be leaving the ranks of the student body, but you are now and forever entering the alumni community. While your 4 years have undoubtedly gone by all too fast, it was the last 2 years that may have left the deepest impression. a time when politics became unpredictable, a time when the world became less stable on the outside, but caused each of us to find peace and strength within ourselves, a time when we felt the urgency to shift from where we have been and focus on where we are going. Yes, it is about time. So I wish you all Godspeed in your lifelong journey. Have faith in the future. May God guide each and every one of you today and for the rest of your lives as proud graduates of St. Anselm College. And I leave you with one final thought. College is for 4 years. St. Anselm College is forever. Thank you, and God bless you all.
On the occasion of these commencement exercises, St. Anselm College honors 4 individuals whose contributions to society are judged worthy of public commendation and of imitation by our departing students. Our honored guests have influenced others for the good through leadership in various fields. It is our hope that by honoring these individuals, our graduates will be inspired to imitate them in the coming years. President DeSalvo will present and read the citations.
I will now ask Richard L. Brady to please come forward. Rick Brady is one of Rhode Island's leading businessmen. Under 36 years of his leadership as chairman, president, and chief executive officer of Nortec, Inc., the company grew into a leading global manufacturer of residential and commercial building products. But Rick's professional accomplishments, while incredibly impressive, are more than matched by his philanthropic endeavors and the time and energy that he devotes to serving any community fortunate enough to count him as a member. Amongst others, he serves as director of Bank Rhode Island and Providence Performing Arts Center, as well as chairman of the Board of Trustees at Roger Williams University. St. Anselm College has long been blessed by his passion for higher education, his belief in our mission, and his determination to better the lives and educational experiences of students. A graduate of the class of 1965, he joined our Board of Trustees in 2002 and lent his wide counsel, friendship, and support of the college ever since. He has shown extraordinary generosity and care for the benefit of students, not least by sponsoring numerous matching fund Brady challenges, which provided a St. Anselm education to many young people who could not otherwise afford it. In 2005, he established the Richard L. Brady Chair of Ethics, Economics, and the Common Good, the first endowed chair in the college's history. Rick embodies the best Anselmian qualities in his life and work, but most of all, in his exceptional hospitality. He has hosted many college events at his house in Newport, Rhode Island. That is, when he's not hosting luminaries like former President Barack Obama or Elton John. Abbot Mark, in recognition of his exemplary achievements, his dedication to serving his fellow man, and his commitment to education, I am honored to present for the degree of Doctor of Business, honoris causa, Richard L. Brady.
Richard L. Brady, by the authority of the Board of Trustees of St. Anselm College, I confer upon you the degree of Doctor of Business honoris causa. In accordance with the usual custom, you are entitled to all the rights and privileges which pertain to this degree here and elsewhere. In token of, therefore, we award you this diploma and invest you with the appropriate hood.
I would now ask John F. Romps, Jr., Professor Emeritus, to please come forward. On the first day of his Principles of Economics class, John Romps often asked students, "What is economics about?" Usually, the answer was money, and invariably, the students were surprised to hear they were wrong. "No," the professor told them, "it's about choice. Everything you do, including coming to class, is an economic decision." It was a key lesson, one that hundreds of St. Anselm students learned to their benefit over the 46 years John Romps spent teaching on the Hilltop. John Romps has played a major role in making St. Anselm the highly ranked college it is today. As an educator, he took an interest in not only students' academic lives, but their personal and career goals. He led annual trips to New York, giving students a closer look at the Wall Street financial world. The contacts they made there often led to their first jobs and certainly influenced their careers. Even after graduation, students frequently called Professor Romps for advice. He often shared his expertise at college and public events and was consulted by the media as an academic expert on timely issues affecting the economy. A true sports fan who says he would have been a sports writer, if not a teacher, Professor Romps developed a popular course in sports economics, which he taught for 10 years. He also taught personal finance workshops for seniors of every major. His talent and dedication, along with his scholarly research and department leadership, led to his Distinguished Faculty Award from the college's chapter of the AAUP. In retirement, John Romps continues to have a positive impact on young people's lives. Recently, this seasoned professor spent time as a student, learning how to help our state's most vulnerable children. He completed court-appointed special advocate training and now volunteers as a voice for children in cases involving neglect or abuse. Abbot Mark, with gratitude for his many contributions to St. Anselm College and in recognition for his dedication to improving financial literacy and inspiring ethical business leadership, I am honored to present for the degree of Doctor of Humane Letters, honoris causa, Professor Emeritus John F. Romps, Jr.
John F. Romps. John F. Romps, Jr., by the authority of the Board of Trustees of St. Anselm College, I confer upon you the degree of Doctor of Humane Letters, honoris causa. In accordance with usual custom, you are entitled to all the rights and privileges which pertain to this degree here and elsewhere. In token thereof, we award you this diploma and invest you with the appropriate hood.
I would now invite Eileen Stewart Shore to please come forward. Caring and compassion drew Eileen Stewart Shore to the field of nursing at a young age. Little did she know, however, upon graduating from St. Anselm College, how far these attributes would take her. She has been on an upward path ever since. Today, Dr. Eileen Stewart Shore is a leader in her profession as a nurse practitioner, researcher, and educator. Her work has directly benefited thousands of patients, inspired countless students, enriched educational programs, and strengthened global healthcare systems. Perhaps her most remarkable achievement is extending her work beyond international borders. To her, it doesn't matter whether you are next door or in sub-Saharan Africa. She believes in the right to decent health for everyone, and she demonstrates that in every aspect of her life. Dr. Stewart Shore initially addressed healthcare issues close to home. She developed the first nurses' clinic at Pine Street Inn, a homeless shelter in Boston, and personally delivered food and services to the needy. After completing a postdoctoral fellowship in cardiovascular epidemiology research, she found another opportunity to apply her knowledge to the suffering she witnessed. She developed a collaborative program called Roxbury Heart and Soul, which addressed the disproportionately high rates of heart disease in the underserved African American community. Dr. Stewart Shore carried Roxbury Heart and Soul to Kenya, where cardiovascular disease is an emerging crisis. She and her students joined forces with African nursing students in a program that had humanitarian, educational, and cross-cultural impact. One student of Kajabi School of Nursing called Kenya Heart and Soul an important angel who has come at the right time when so many of our people are suffering. Abbott Mark, in recognition of her dedication and leadership, her generosity and compassion, her accomplishments as an inspiring teacher and humanitarian, I am honored to present for the degree of Doctor of Humanities, honoris causa, Eileen Stewart Shore.
Eileen. Eileen Stewart Shore, by the authority of the Board of Trustees of St. Anselm College, I confer upon you the degree of Doctor of Humanities, honoris causa. In accordance with usual custom, you are entitled to all the rights and privileges which pertain to this degree here and elsewhere. In token thereof, we award you this diploma and invest you with the appropriate hood.
I would now invite Cardinal Sean Patrick O'Malley to please come forward. At an age when most young children still dream about what they will be when they grow up, young Patrick O'Malley already knew. As he recalled to a reporter recently, his father and he were bringing his older brother to a retreat run by Capuchin Franciscan friars when they met an old friar out hoeing a field. They talked to him for a long time, and when they departed, Mr. O'Malley said, "You know, son, that is the happiest man in the world." Patrick knew his father was right, and imagining that one day he could be that happy, his road to becoming a Franciscan friar was set before he turned 10 years old. What young Patrick could not imagine is that one day that road would bring him to service as one of the most prominent and influential leaders in the Catholic Church, and as an intimate and trustworthy counselor to the Pope. Cardinal Sean Patrick O'Malley was professed as a Capuchin Franciscan in 1965 and ordained in 1970. As a newly ordained priest in Washington, D.C., he worked with immigrant communities, including Hispanics, Portuguese immigrants fleeing the 1974 revolution, and Duvalier exiles of Haiti. The work transformed his life. Besides earning a PhD in Spanish and Portuguese literature, he served as a pastor where he seldom said Mass in English. Ultimately, he founded Centro Católico Hispano, an organization providing educational, medical, and legal help to immigrants. The young priest's talents and leadership would be recognized. He was named the Archbishop of Boston in 2003. He was elevated to cardinal by Pope Benedict 3 years later. And on his trip to Rome for formal installation, he became the first cardinal to launch his own blog, As an active member of the United States Conference of Catholic Bishops, Cardinal O'Malley has served and led numerous initiatives, and Pope Francis made him the only North American member of his Council of 9 cardinals who advise on the restructuring of the Roman Curia. None of Cardinal Sean's prominent service has afforded him the simple happiness of hoeing a field, but what he has cultivated on his road to happiness and in his unrelenting service to others and to God is peace, justice, and joy in the lives of countless people throughout the world. Abbot Mark, in recognition of his exemplary achievements, his life of service to the Lord and the Church, and his dedication to those most in need, I am honored to present for the degree of Doctor of Divinity, honoris causa, Cardinal Sean Patrick O'Malley.
Cardinal Sean Patrick O'Malley, by the authority of the Board of Trustees of St. Anselm College, I confer upon you the degree of Doctor of Divinity, honoris causa. In accordance with the usual custom, you are entitled to all the rights and privileges which pertain to this degree here and elsewhere. In token thereof, we award you this diploma and present you with the appropriate hood.
It gives me great pleasure at this time to call upon Cardinal Sean Patrick O'Malley to deliver the commencement address.
Good afternoon, everyone. Very happy Feast of Pentecost to all. Bishop Labashi, Abbot Mark, President DeSalvo, it's a great joy to be here today. When I graduated from St. Fidelis of Sigmaringen Seminary, I gave the commencement address in Latin. The good thing about Latin valedictorians is that even the most banal musings sound very profound. Still, I'm happy to try and make these remarks in the vernacular. First, let me congratulate my fellow graduates and their families. St. Anselm's College is a blessing for our church and indeed for the whole community. I grew up in the days before television when every Saturday, every kid in the world went to movies and you watched double features, westerns, 25 cents for a Saturday matinee. There were newsreels recapping the events of the week, since there was no CNN in those days, a couple of cartoons, and then a serial film that lasted about half an hour and continued from week to week. The film always ended with a very dramatic scene geared to bring the audience back next week to see the fate of the hero who fell from an airplane without a parachute into shark-infested waters, while at the same time under fire from machine guns and bazookas. Will he survive? Of course he would, but you had to wait all week to find out how. Actually, Westerns comprised about 1/4 of all of the films in the 20th century, as well as about 1/4 of prime-time television. The hero cowboy was always a rugged individual, completely self-reliant, who by his own efforts and determination was able to overcome all adversity. Our cowboy heroes were joined by Ayn Rand heroes, the private detectives of the noir genre, Rambo, Rocky, and Luke Skywalker. Individualism and competition became the most important national values as personified in our cultural icons. To a certain extent, these rugged individuals who enjoyed hero status have been supplanted by our celebrities, many of whom are simply famous for being famous. We love them for being who they are, but not particularly for what they do. Sometimes celebrity is warranted by talent in music, sports, entertainment, or because of intellectual prowess or good looks. Oftentimes, these celebrities lead very self-absorbed lives. And yet, because we live in a culture addicted to entertainment, celebrities have a very important part of our lives. Several years ago, I was invited to a state dinner at the White House. The president of Brazil was visiting, and they wanted a Portuguese-speaking bishop. When an O'Malley showed up, they were all very surprised. They sat me down next to President Bush Sr., who was the head of state at the moment and whom I recognized immediately. On my other side was a lovely young woman who introduced herself as Gloria Estefan. I said to her, "Do you work in the White House?" She said, "No, Father, I'm a famous singer." I said, "You obviously don't sing Gregorian chant." She was a good sport and understood that a Capuchin friar might not be totally conversant with pop culture. Yet the truth is, we're all immersed in a culture that lionizes celebrities and exalts the rugged individuals and Randian heroes who are the embodiment of the extreme individualism rampant in our society. St. Anselm's College and Catholic education exists to present a very different ideal from the popular fascination with celebrity and the exaltation of the anonymous self. I'd love to share with people the story about a man who was very sick and went to the doctors to undergo a series of tests. At one point, the physician asked to speak to the man's wife, and he said, "Your husband is very sick. He will survive only if you take very good care of him." The wife asked, "What do you mean, doctor?" The doctor said, "For your husband to survive, you need to take very good care of him. Serve him his favorite meals. Allow him to go to sporting events and on hunting trips with his buddies. Don't ask him to cut the grass or take out the garbage. Don't share with him any news that might be upsetting. Let him have the remote control for the television set. And whatever you do, don't invite his mother-in-law to the house." On the way home in the car, the distressed husband said to his wife, "What did the doctor say? What did the doctor say?" Wife said, "Honey, the doctor said you're going to die." The truth is, we were placed on this earth to take very good care of each other. And if we don't, the patient will die. For the unbeliever, the universe and life itself are the result of chance and accidents. But for the believer, the universe and our life itself are the result of love. That's the fundamental difference. So often, the popular culture and media, who are the great proselytizers of our age, preach the most stifling kind of consumer existence, convincing us to worship gods of commerce and money and selfish advancement above all else. We are told that all that really matters is to acquire things, to wear the right clothes, to drive the right cars, to live in the right neighborhoods. Then everything will be all right. The truth is, the inevitable losses and sufferings that intrude even into the most carefully planned and orchestrated life have a way of disrupting things. A life of faith with a sense of purpose and mission is what brings us fulfillment. In our world where people put their philosophy of life on their bumper stickers, I saw a t-shirt that said, "The one who has the most money when he dies wins." It seems like a pretty absurd slogan, but when you think about it, a lot of people live their lives as if that's what it were all about. I urge you to be a community of faith, to be part of a worshiping community that can sustain you and nourish your idealism and your sense of purpose. I know that a popular saying nowadays is, "Oh, I'm spiritual but not religious." Jesus taught us very clearly that discipleship is not a solo flight. We learn to be people of faith the way that we learn a language, by being part of a community that speaks that language. And it isn't surprising that all the sociological studies show that churchgoers live longer, happier, and more productive lives, but often those are well-kept secrets. When Pope Francis celebrated his inaugural Mass, it was on the feast of St. Joseph, who he characterized as a protector. Pope Francis says Joseph is a protector because he's able to hear God's voice and be guided by his will. And for this reason, he's all the more sensitive to the persons entrusted to his safekeeping. Pope Francis says, we also have a vocation to be protectors. However, it's not just something involving us Christians alone. It also has a prior dimension which is simply human, involving everyone. It means protecting all creation, the beauty of the world, as the book of Genesis tells us, and as St. Francis of Assisi shows us. It means respecting each of God's creatures and respecting the environment in which we live. It means protecting people, showing loving concern for each and every person, especially children, the elderly, those in need, who we often are the last to think about. It means caring for one another in our families, husbands and wives. First protect one another. Then parents care for their children, and children at times come to protect their parents. It means building sincere friendships in which we protect one another in trust, respect, and goodness. In the end, everything has been entrusted to our protection, and all of us are responsible. We're called upon to be protectors and caregivers. We must not be indifferent to the suffering and the injustice on our doorstep. Our very existence is a result of love. We have our origins and our destiny in God's love. In our connectedness to God, we are connected to each other. Our God has entrusted this world to us. Our task, as our Jewish brothers and sisters say, is to repair the world. Our world needs a lot of repair, a lot of caregivers and protectors, and lone rangers and celebrities won't cut it. Every year I accompany hundreds of students to Washington, D.C. for the pro-life march in January. One year we visited the Holocaust Museum while we were there. I was struck by a letter that was projected on the walls of the Holocaust Museum. It was by the survivor of a concentration camp by the name of Hiram Ganot. The letter is addressed to educators. He says, "My eyes have seen what no man should witness. Gas chambers built by learned engineers, children poisoned by educated physicians, infants killed by trained nurses, women and children shot and burned by high school and college graduates. So I'm suspicious of education. My request is to help your students become more human. Your efforts must never produce learned monsters, skilled psychopaths, educated Eichmanns. Reading, writing, and arithmetic are important only if they serve to make people more human. We have all seen how technology and science can be put at the service of selfishness and evil. Since the time of St. Benedict 1,500 years ago, Catholic education has been about just that, helping people to become more human. At home, we have a great photograph of my grandparents in Lakewood, Ohio. My grandfather had the first automobile in our town, and we have a picture of him and my grandmother in their Model T Ford wearing goggles and dusters like bathrobes, and my grandfather has a leather cap, and my grandmother a huge hat firmly attached to her head by a scarf. They were prepared for the life-threatening velocities of 15 miles an hour. But before my grandparents died, they lived to see a person placed on the moon. The 20th century was the greatest century of scientific and technological progress in the history of humanity. Television, the internet, telecommunications, cures and treatments for so many diseases that previously had been fatal, so many wonderful discoveries and inventions that have made our lives easier and richer. At the same time, the 20th century was the most violent century in the history of the planet. 2 world wars, the Holocaust, the atom bomb, apartheid, legalized abortion, and so many examples of the destruction of people, the abuse of the environment, and the eroding of values. That's why Hiram Gnot's letter is so prophetic. Science and technology can expand our knowledge of the world around us, but they can never teach us the value of things or the meaning of our existence, the purpose and the mission of our life. Our faith is a light that helps us to see deeper realities, to discover the loving presence of God, and in discovering God, we discover who we are, why we're here, and what we have to do with our lives. The motto of St. Anselm's is, Initium sapientiae timor Domini. The fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom. This wisdom begins when we discover how awesome, how great God is. Then we discover that we're not here by accident. We're here because of God's love, and our life does have a purpose. Here at St. Anselm's, you're standing on the shoulders of giants. 1,500 years ago, St. Benedict created a movement that humanized people by spreading the gospel. Pope Pius speaks about the countless bands of monks sent by the Church to the ends of the earth to cultivate the peaceful kingdom of Jesus Christ, not with sword or the violence, but with the plow and the cross. The Holy Father's description at times seems poetic and fanciful, but actually it falls short of describing how the Benedictine monks promoted the practical arts, agriculture, classical learning at a time when other leaders in society were only focused on warfare and violence. The monks literally saved agriculture in Europe. They introduced new crops, industries, and production. They taught people how to breed cattle and horses, how to brew beer, think of that, raising bees and fruits. The corn trade in Sweden was established by the monks. In Parma, it was cheese making. In Ireland, salmon fisheries. And in many places, vineyards. The monks were herbalists and physicians like Brother Cadfael. They were philosophers, theologians, linguists, architects. The monasteries themselves were the most economically effective units that existed in Europe, and at their height, there were 37,000 Benedictine monasteries there. The monks were known for their skills in making ironworks, in forging metal plates, mining salt. They were skilled clockmakers, scientists and biologists. But most importantly, they modeled for people the dignity of human work. At the same time, they passed on the wisdom of the ages by copying manuscripts and establishing schools. The great monasteries were always centers of faith and culture, where people learned to be more human, to live a better life in community, guided by the ideals of the gospel of Jesus Christ. St. Anselm's part in this proud tradition is that it continues to be a civilizing force in our world. Being a protector and caregiver demands courage and generosity. People need to be living in solidarity. Solidarity is an expression of the great commandment that calls us to form a community among people that will enable us to overcome structures of sin and oppression that burden humanity. Above the natural bonds already so strong in our lives, faith leads us to see a new model of the unity of the human race. The Holy Father insists that solidarity is not sentimentality or a vague compassion or empathy for the suffering of so many, but rather it's a firm and persevering determination to commit oneself to the common good, because we are all really responsible for all. The Japanese have a wonderful parable about a man who lived in a beautiful home on the top of the mountain. And each day he would go out in his garden and take a walk and look at the ocean below. And one day as he was out walking, he saw this huge tsunami on the horizon coming toward the shore. And then he noticed a group of his neighbors were down on the beach having a picnic. And he wanted to warn them. He began to shout and wave. They were too far away. They couldn't see him or hear him. So you know what that man did? He set fire to his home. And when his neighbors looked up and saw the flames and the smoke, some of them said, "Let's climb the mountain and help our neighbor to save his home." And the others said, "Oh, that mountain is so steep and we're having so much fun here. You go." Well, the ones who climbed the mountain to help their neighbor, when the tidal wave hit the shore, were saved. But those who stayed having fun at the picnic were swept out to sea and perished. Sometimes when we perform a work of mercy or an act of justice, we think we're doing God a favor. But actually, we're climbing that mountain of love that draws us closer to God and salvation. The only real success in life is to be able to make a gift of ourselves to others. This is the success that we wish for all of our graduates, that you be capable of making a gift of yourselves to God and to others. And in doing so, you will be protectors of the gifts and caretakers of each other, a sign of hope. Let me end with the words of Mother Teresa to the graduates of Niagara College in 1982. "My prayer for you is that you will grow in the likeness of Christ and love one another. May God bless you and keep you. And today, as you leave this place with something beautiful in your hands, make sure that you make your life really something beautiful for God and humanity." Congratulations.
I would now like to call upon Dr. Mark Cronin, Dean of the College, for the awarding of the degrees to the graduates.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is the moment when St. Anselm College and the wider academic community recognize the academic accomplishments of these graduates with the conferral of degrees. The degree which they will possess is a public recognition that they have engaged in the labor which is learning, experienced the joy which is discovery, and now possess the achievement which is knowledge. Will the graduates please rise? President DeSalvo, it is my pleasure to present to you the candidates for the degrees of Honors Bachelor of Arts, Honors Bachelor of Science, Bachelor of Arts, and Bachelor of Science. The faculty of St. Anselm College have guided them through the prescribed course of studies in the arts and sciences. They've examined them on their worthiness and certify that they are indeed worthy to receive these degrees.
By virtue of the authority vested in me by the Board of Trustees of St. Anselm College and the State of New Hampshire, I confer the degree of Honors Bachelor of Arts, Honors Bachelor of Science, Bachelor of Arts, or Bachelor of Science with all the rights, honors, and privileges pertaining to these degrees here and elsewhere on those now presented by the Dean of the College.
Please be seated. Dear graduates, it is now the moment you have waited for and worked for. Ladies and gentlemen, you are about to hear that one special name. For the sake of grandparents and parents, friends and family who want nothing more than to hear their one special name, I request, on behalf of the graduates, that until all of the degrees have been conferred by the president of the college, that you withhold your applause and other expressions of joy and utter disbelief. The Honors Bachelor of Arts degree, Sky Elise Allen, cum laude. Lauren Rose Batchelder, cum laude. Theodore James Boyvin, summa cum laude. Andrew Paul Bompastori, summa cum laude. Kristen Jean Brown, magna cum laude. Alicia Nicole Delano, cum laude. Catherine Elizabeth Doucette, magna cum laude. Luke Robert Douglas, magna cum laude. Kyle William Forget, magna cum laude. Emily Elizabeth Garcia, summa cum laude. Stephanie Marie Gelshauser, cum laude. Hannah Elizabeth Harper, magna cum laude. Lily Gray Hitchin, magna cum laude. Erica McGinnis Hudson, summa cum laude. Madeline May Hunt, summa cum laude. Jessica Claire Kaufman, summa cum laude. Erin Margaret Krell, summa cum laude. Lisette Ann LeBay, magna cum laude. Brendan James Mahoney, magna cum laude. Adriana Rose Manzi, summa cum laude. Nicolette Therese Manzi, magna cum laude. Amelia Canotis McHugh, summa cum laude. Helio Silva Morales Nato, magna cum laude. Garrett William Meyer, magna cum laude. Caitlin Elizabeth Morell, magna cum laude. Olivia Marie Morsi, magna cum laude. Rebecca Elizabeth O'Keefe, cum laude. Brandon James Pratt, summa cum laude. Claire McCrae Robbins, cum laude. Rebecca Ann Roy, cum laude. Thomas Mark Royer, magna cum laude. Alexandra Jordan Safars, cum laude. Olivia Rose Thornburg, summa cum laude. Madison Kelsey Vigneault, magna cum laude. Adam Morris Weinstein, summa cum laude. The honors Bachelor of Science degree, Daniel Marie Martin, cum laude. Jessica Lee Perkins, summa cum laude. The Bachelor of Arts degree, Alexis Diana Ahern, cum laude. Michael Akinfemewa Akinlesoto. Shannon Andrea Anzoni, magna cum laude. Shane Mitchell Archambault. Carly Elizabeth Aturio. Cody Gregory Aubin, cum laude. Jamie Lynn Ayers. Jenna Marie Baker, magna cum laude. Kirsten Michelle Ballou, magna cum laude. Colleen Ann Barrett. Molly Lucille Bass. Amber Elizabeth Healy Bassett, magna cum laude. Sean Andrew Benoit. Taylor Elizabeth Bergstrom. Amanda Lynn Bickford, magna cum laude. Emma Isabel Bishop, magna cum laude. Deanna Rose Bissonette, cum laude. Joseph John Bobeck. Daniel Francis Bodie. Jacob Bosch, magna cum laude. Dominic Jude Bolton. Joseph Leonard Bonin. Anna Elizabeth Boris, cum laude. Benjamin Scott Bossy. Drew Joseph Bordeaux, cum laude. Samantha Darrell Boyer. Kyle James Braille, cum laude. Samuel Craig Brandeis. Caroline Grace Braverman. Matthew Michael Bremis. Jacqueline Carey Brennan. Rachel Elizabeth Brown, cum laude. Joseph Thomas Brunel, cum laude. Samuel Anson Burren. Jonathan Scott Burkhart, magna cum laude. Kyle William Bushnell. Efthim Butka. Alexander James Cadman. Brendan Alexander Kane, summa cum laude. Eileen Patricia Callahan. Olive LaCroix Susie Capone, summa cum laude. Joseph Anthony Capuzzo. Catherine Ann Carey, magna cum laude. Cody Jedediah Carr. Nicholas Payne Carter. Thomas Richard Case, cum laude. Kirsten Aneshka Katib, magna cum laude. Zoe Michael Cavada, cum laude. Craig Ryan Shalafor. Michael Riley Chapman. Alexander Charles Charbonneau. Amani Indira Charles. Anthony Joseph Shimataro. Andrew Michael Salento, cum laude. Oliver E. Simon. Griffin Michael Clark. Bran Marie Clifford. Kelly Virginia Colbath. Robert Anthony Cole. Catherine Jean Collins. Erin Claire Collins, cum laude. Noah James McFarland Collins, summa cum laude. Jonathan Thomas Comber, cum laude. Aaliyah Marie Connolly. Austin Eric Connolly. Lauren Patricia Connolly. Sarah Ann Connolly. Alexander John Conrad. Cassandra Elise Conti. Stephanie June Conti. Nicholas Paul Schiavi Cote. Colleen Catherine Cotter. David Lee George Creighton. Elizabeth Ann Cronin. Michael Patrick Cullinan, cum laude. Samantha Rose Cuomo. John Francis Curtin. Dylan Michael Dahlbeck. Shannon Delaney Dale. Kevin Michael Daskovich. Jessica Joy Dean, cum laude. Marissa Ann DeAngelis, cum laude. Lucas Allen D'Angelo. James Michael Delasola, cum laude. Zachary Matthew Demas, cum laude. Catherine Ann Damasi. Aiden Jacob Dennehy. Nicole Michelle DeRoche, magna cum laude. Matthew Powers de Choutinier, magna cum laude. Michael Joseph T. Collegero, magna cum laude. Martha Rachel Dolan. Susan Marie Donahue, magna cum laude. Shannon Kate Donnell, cum laude. Isaiah Garrett Douglas. Madeline Patricia Doyle. Alexandra Rose Duffy, cum laude. Kate Jennifer Dugas. Madeline Grace Dunn, summa cum laude. Shane Joseph Early, cum laude. Alexis Jane Elowich, magna cum laude. Darren Joseph Angelke. Jillian Alexandra Fama. Kathleen Marie Farrell, cum laude. Julia Ann Ferrante. Daniel Thomas Flatley, Jr. Alan Jeffrey Flynn, Jr. David James Foley. Taylor Mack Fortin. Taylor Lee Francis, cum laude. Griffin Sean Frazier. Caitlin Elizabeth Gallagher. Thomas Jeffrey Garvey, magna cum laude. Zoe Michelle Gaziani, summa cum laude. Colleen Margaret Gaughan, magna cum laude. Reese Turner Gamble, cum laude. Zachary L. Gentili. Joseph Patrick Garrity, cum laude. Angelo Lawrence Girardi. Marissa Lynn Gervasi. Liam Robert Gillis, cum laude. Jacqueline Ann Glendye. Allie Courtney Glennon. Jonathan David Gooding. Nicholas Michael Gorski, magna cum laude. Diana Carolina Grouseless. Kyle William Green. Olivia Frances Griffin. Riley Gwen Grussing. Sarah Victorian Guay. Jacqueline Alexis Gilmet. Tyler Jared Gilmet. Jacqueline Carol Guy, cum laude. Sarah Catherine Hallback, cum laude. Rebecca Ashley Hall, cum laude. William Nathaniel Max Hall. John James Halliday, cum laude. Caitlin Rose Harney, cum laude. Josie Violet Harp. Kyle McLean Harris. Matthew Francis Hayes. James Dalton Hayward. Ronald Russell Ryan Head III. Jack Robert Heinzelman, cum laude. Devin James Hemian. Edgar Hernandez Jr. Ryan Scott Hesseltine. Zachary Gray Higgins. Elizabeth Brianne Holt. Zachary Michael Horton. Joseph William Hubbard. Leah Christine Hunt. Taryn M. Immel, cum laude. Danielle Brianne Isbell, cum laude. Sevda Islamova. Randy David Jack. Stephen Gerard Jaskalevich, cum laude. Kyrell Alexander Jamdu. Anna Kate Jodka. Elizabeth Claire Johnson, cum laude. Olivia Susan Johnson. Shane Thomas Joyce. Jake Allen Collette, summa cum laude. Emerald Dennis Carrick, cum laude. George David Cassis. Brian Patrick Kavanaugh. Daniel Christopher Kelly, cum laude. Lauren J. Kennedy. Nora Catherine Kennedy. Samantha Charlotte Kennedy, cum laude. Andrew Dennis Keys. Molly Shenty Kilbride, magna cum laude. Emma Rose Kincaid. Andrew John King, cum laude. Corey Robert King. Sarah Frances King, cum laude. Ashley Lynn Kozakowski, cum laude. Nor Adam Cookie. Adam Alexander Kroll. Glenn Michael Krasminski. Adam Christopher Kukesh. Derek Brian LeBranch, Jr. Christopher Ryan Lackey, magna cum laude. Colton Peter LaFata. Joseph Ovid LaMontagne, magna cum laude. Laura Mary LaPierre. Benjamin Larson, summa cum laude. Joshua John Leary. Andrew Thomas Lechner, cum laude. Sabil Marian Lejatim, summa cum laude. Brianna Chantel Legrand, cum laude. Ashley Lee Leonard. Jeremy William Lettieri. Rachel Ann Lindley, cum laude. Thaddeus S. Link. Richard Marr Lepard. Elizabeth Ann Lomuccio. Mary Patrick Long, cum laude. Justin Taylor Longo. William James Lapata III. Mitchell S. Lucci, cum laude. Cameron Adam Maybe. Allison Taylor McDonald. Jessica Marie McIsaac. Shano Marie Ann Matahar, cum laude. John Nicholas McGinnis. Rachel Marie Mahoney. Robert James Mahoney. Thomas William Mannion. Joseph Michael Marandola, summa cum laude. Stefan Andrew Moranian. Tia Xanthos Marathis. John White Marculitis. Antonio Louis Marini. Abigail M. Mark, magna cum laude. Jacqueline Ann Martin. Edward Frederick Matavu. Nicholas Nehemiah Matthews. Zachary Joseph Mozzarella. Andrew John Mazzio. Sarah Elizabeth McAndrews, cum laude. Caroline Marie McKenzie, cum laude. Matthew Sean McKeon. Catherine Eileen McLaughlin. Shannon Christine McLaughlin. Sarah Elizabeth McVan. Eric Hurst Mercer, cum laude. Kira Sullivan Mahalik, cum laude. Emily Michelone, cum laude. Jake Alexander Miller. Joan Jessica Mitsinikos. Laura Maria Monegro Gonzalez. Ashley Marie Moran. David Charles Morrissey. Veronica Elizabeth Mueller. Brendan Matthew Mulligan, cum laude. Alex John Mullen. Casey David Murphy. Jacqueline Marie Murphy. Megan Marie Murrell. Alexis Ann Nato, magna cum laude. Kelsey Nicole Nern. Justin Edward Nestor. Catherine Elizabeth Neeland, summa cum laude. Zun Ein Nguyen. Jennifer Marie Nice, cum laude. Jared Thomas Nichols, cum laude. John C. Norton. Amanda Nicole Nuri. Austin Donald Neitiger. Regan Ann O'Brien, cum laude. Sean Callery O'Brien, cum laude. Madison Casey O'Neill. Oliver William Woolette. Catherine Nora Owen. Benjamin Granis Page. Hannah Lee Sidney Pachel. Jonathan Patrick Pilata. Jonathan Mackenzie Palmer. Emma Olivia Palumbo. Aaron Joseph Pallas. Alexander John Pearson. Brooke Ashley Pearson, cum laude. Courtney Ann Pelletier, summa cum laude. Pasquale Joseph Perfetto III. Ryan Christopher Peterson. Haley Noel Pettinato, cum laude. Allison Tina Tham. Danielle Elizabeth Finney. Rebecca Ann Pontier. Jacob A. Poor. Zachary James Poulin. Thomas William Powell. Abigail Marie Presby, magna cum laude. Clary D. Putnam, cum laude. Shayla Mariellis Ramirez. Emily and Elizabeth Rice, magna cum laude. Justin Matthew Recupero. Bridget Mary Robbins. Ashley Ann Robichaud, summa cum laude. John William Robinson. Courtney Rose Roderick, cum laude. Nicholas John Raleigh. Georgie Marie Rooney, cum laude. Lauren Elizabeth Rose. Matthew John Sargent. Benjamin John Scheffler. Connor Holt Shoshki. Madison Lee Scott, cum laude. David Michael Sion. Madison Curtis Shea. Megan Kathleen Sheehy. Andrew Walsh Shue, magna cum laude. Zachary John Sirowich. Stephen Martin Skolinski. Christian Parker Smith. Joseph Kenneth Smith. Ryan Dennerly Smith, cum laude. Caitlin Elizabeth Spillane. Eric William Starr. Rebecca Abigail Stearns. Michaela Elizabeth Sterling, cum laude. Gary Hathaway Storis, cum laude. Kayla Rose Sullivan. Matthew John Sullivan. Wei Min Tan, cum laude. Catherine Ann Teets, cum laude. Daniel Nicole Teixeira. Matthew Frederick Thatcher. Kyle Jacob Tupi Thayer. Alana Mary Thornton, cum laude. Amanda Lee Tremonti. Jamie Renee Travers, magna cum laude. Jessica Ann Valancourt, magna cum laude. Emily Lynn Villari, magna cum laude. Zeph Luigi Vitage. Mia Alana Vecchioni. Marta Verspril, summa cum laude. John Raymond Vidal, cum laude. Andrew Joseph Vogel. Max Taylor Waddington. Bridget Elizabeth Wahlberg, cum laude. Peyton Ann Wallace, cum laude. Brendan Charles Walsh. Kelly Elizabeth Walsh. Corey Richard Ward. Erin Christina Waters. Sam Hurley Whalen. Abigail Rose Williams. Amanda Catherine Williams. Andrew James Williams. Gregory John Williams. Kayla Elizabeth Wilson, cum laude. Crosby Thomas Winters, cum laude. Jeremiah Robert Wood. Teresa Josna Yoder. The honors, the Bachelor of Science degree, Kirsten Ashley Allen, cum laude. Emily Marie Arnold, cum laude. Anne-Marie Elizabeth Azel, magna cum laude. Andrea M. Azermerly. Emily Lynn Ashton, cum laude. Christopher Kyle Babcock. Jessica Ailish Bacon, cum laude. Melissa Ann Barty, cum laude. Leah Caitlin Benson, cum laude. Caroline Elizabeth Bickford, cum laude. Ashley Morgan Bonadio. Morgan Ann Brady, cum laude. Lauren Elizabeth Brown. Nicole Alexis Bruin, cum laude. Carissa Erin Burton, cum laude. Jennifer Mary Cardarelli. Alicia Marie Carney, cum laude. Lindsay Marie Carpenter. Abigail Rose Chisholm. Claire Ann Collette, magna cum laude. Shannon Higgins Conley, cum laude. Jacqueline Marie Connors. Lauren Elizabeth Craig. Tara Lynn Crow. Taylor McMaster Cuddy, cum laude. Tegan Marie Cullen, magna cum laude. Megan Jean Curtis. Kristen Marie DeCoste, magna cum laude. Cara Marie Deming. Jill Marie Dempsey, summa cum laude. Mackenzie Ann Dennison, magna cum laude. Nicole Margaret Downing, cum laude. Kathleen Marie Fedor. Tiffany Louise Fifield, cum laude. Brittany Rose Fisher, cum laude. Emily Elizabeth Fitzgerald, cum laude. Erin Elizabeth Fitzpatrick. Amanda Marie Flaherty, cum laude. Kelsey Joe Freilich, cum laude. Nicole Marie Francis Shelley. Hannah Lacey Glover, cum laude. Megan Elizabeth Golden, cum laude. Paige Therese Gorecki. Amelia Elizabeth Gould, cum laude. Zoe Elizabeth Griffin. Taryn Patricia Gesford, summa cum laude. Taylor Nicole Hanley. Jake W. Hardy. Emma Catherine Harold, magna cum laude. Rachel Elizabeth Hetu, cum laude. Bridget Agnes Haran, cum laude. Eric Daniel Howes. Megan Elizabeth James. Hannah Claire Johnson, cum laude. Courtney Beth Coffink, cum laude. Michaela Marie LaChapelle, cum laude. Marissa Kate LaFosse, cum laude. Brenda Ellen LaPierre, cum laude. Michaela Michelle LeBeau. Renee Michelle Levely. Nicola Grace Libby, cum laude. Kyle Patrick McKay. Marie Elizabeth Malloy, summa cum laude. Alexis Elaine Mango, cum laude. Madison Lindsay Mason, cum laude. Erica Ruth Madala, cum laude. Sarah Walsh McCarthy, cum laude. Jamie Lynn McNamara, cum laude. Brandon James Milton. Erin Teresa Moreau, magna cum laude. Alexa Danielle Murphy, magna cum laude. Gladys Camonto Natabo, cum laude. Samantha Elizabeth O'Neill. Sarah Jane Osgood, summa cum laude. Sarah Lynn Pantaleos. Amanda Jean Parisi. Penny A. Percy, summa cum laude. Jennifer Ariel Petrowski, cum laude. Hannah Pirizzoli. Brianna Jesslyn Prue. Amelia May Quinn. Mary Margaret T. Quinn. Grace Elizabeth Rabaska. Nicholas Ernest Charles Richardson. Molly Ann Ridge. Caitlin Elizabeth Ringer. Elise Marie Rivera. Emily Julia Ruggiero. Emily Ann Scomp, summa cum laude. Zulika Sarah Scott. Jeanette Christine Smith, summa cum laude. Emily Catherine Stiebruggen, cum laude. Courtney Ann Stokes, cum laude. Michaela Michelle St. Pierre, magna cum laude. Ashley Madeline Sulkin. Heather Marie Sullivan, cum laude. Caroline Denise Trickett, magna cum laude. Kimberly Elizabeth Visconti, summa cum laude. Lauren Renee Vitone, cum laude. Brittany Ann Wagner, cum laude. Emily Madeline Witowitz, magna cum laude. Robin Ashley Zithkak, magna cum laude. Graduates, as a symbol of your transition from student to graduate, you may now move your tassel from the right side to the left. Once again, congratulations to the class of 2018.
Ladies and gentlemen, please stand as I call upon the Most Reverend Peter Labashi, Bishop of Manchester, to conclude this commencement by invoking God's blessing upon us. Following the benediction, please remain standing for the singing of the St. Anselm College anthem.
Let us pray. O Lord, our God and Creator, open the hearts and minds and even the lips of your servants, that they may receive the power of your divine law and understand the knowledge that has been given to them. Preserve them in the true faith and in holiness all the days of their lives, that they may increase in wisdom and in the fulfilling of your commandments. O Lord, grateful for the benefits which you have bestowed on us in your loving kindness, we bless and give thanks to you, and we beg you to look graciously upon us and these graduates. Grant that they grow in wisdom and understanding. May they prosper in good works for the glorification of your name. Give them health and long life, that they may see your goodness in their lives and proclaim this truth to others. As we go forth in peace today, may St. Anselm College always look upon them with pride. And may these graduates whom we recognize and honor today themselves always be proud to acknowledge St. Anselm College as their alma mater. May every grace and blessing be theirs through the intercession of St. Benedict, St. Anselm, and in all things through Christ. And so we pray, may the Lord bless you and keep you. May he cause his face to shine upon you and be gracious unto you. May the Lord look upon you all kindly and give you peace. Amen.